Good afternoon. This is Jay with First Direct Corp with another video presentation on GoldMine. And in today's presentation, we'll talk about email marketing and email tracking, opens, unsubscribes, bounces, clicks, spam reports, whether an email was delivered, etc. Many customers of GoldMine or many GoldMine users have wanted a way to use GoldMine, the email client within GoldMine, to send it mass emails and marketing emails, newsletters, promotional emails, whatever you have to their lists of contacts in GoldMine, their filters and groups, without needing to do too much beyond the fact of creating an email in GoldMine and sending it. There are solutions that we offer, add-on products that allow you to insert unsubscribe links and click tracking links and open tracking links. Um, but a lot of customers have asked for the ability to do that within GoldMine without doing too much technical work, if you will, on their end. They just want to be able to use GoldMine and have unsubscribes and open tracking, unsubscribe tracking, bounce management built in. Some of our customers have chosen to move to using services like Constant Contact or MailChimp or Sendinblue, Campaign Monitor, etc. There are lots of marketing email solutions out there for creating email campaigns and sending email campaigns. But the problem with a lot of those solutions is, as great as they are, is that you now need to find a way to integrate them with GoldMine or get your lists out of GoldMine and into these systems, and that just presents another set of work and problems for people to solve. So today's presentation is really on a unique solution, a unique way to send emails through GoldMine and have unsubscribe and bounce management and click management, open management, etc. And really, you can customize it to your needs. So let me get into it a little bit. Talk about that solution. So that solution I'm talking about is called SendGrid. SendGrid.com is the app. I've logged into my account here. I'm logged into my SendGrid account. I do have a free trial account. I signed up for this account good 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, potentially. And at the time, they were offering 12,000 emails for free per month. So yeah, I got in early and signed up for a free trial, and I've had it for many years. I've used it for many different things, website integration, etc. So what is SendGrid? Let me just log out here for a second. Let me sign out of my account. We'll go to SendGrid. SendGrid is a email API, an email SMTP email relay service. They've got marketing campaigns, so they've kind of set up like an email, like a constant contact or MailChimp. They do have that type of solution as well if you're interested in that. But I'm using their SendGrid API, which is an email API, which is really for developers and programmers to develop custom email solutions or systems, marketing systems of their own, or integrate systems with an email API. So we'll be talking about the SendGrid API, but certainly feel free to check out their website, looking at some of their pricing. Again, they do offer a free version still, but only 100 emails per day. So is that a couple 3,000 something emails per month, right? So it's not too bad for free. So if you're a small user, you're sending only a couple hundred emails per day, or et cetera, you could use the free version. If you move up to essentials, you can send up to 40,000 emails per month for, I believe, $15 per month. If you and there is some overages. So if you send them more than that, 41,000, 42,000, 43,000 emails per month, they'll hit you with a little bit extra per an additional email. Obviously, you go to Pro, which is for big senders, millions of emails. You probably not anybody's going to be near this. So for a very small fee, $15 per month, you can send mass email through SendGrid. Let me log back into my account here. And when I log in, it asks me to verify myself through an authenticator app. I just have to, they send me a text to my phone, and I enter that random number. This is multi-factor authentication. And there we are. Now we're in. So I'm into my SendGrid account. And once I've signed up, there's a couple of things I need to set up and configure within my SendGrid account to be able to do some of the tracking that we're going to be doing. So the first thing we need to go is go into settings and mail settings and enable the event webhook feature. I've also enabled the forward bounce messages. So if an email bounces, normally you'd get that mailer daemon non-deliverable email to your email address. Well, because we're sending through SendGrid's mail server, they would normally try to send it to SendGrid. So we can forward those emails. I'm forwarding those emails to my email address. I can even do forward spam reports, etc. But the one I want to talk about here is the event webhook. Under the event webhook here, I can indicate which events, delivered events, and engagement data that I want to have sent to a webhook of my choosing. So I've enabled drops, deferred, and bounced emails. I don't care whether an email has been processed or delivered. Um, just so that I'm not cluttering up my GoldMine database with processed and delivered information. But if an email drops or if it's deferred or bounced, all three of those indicate that it wasn't able to be delivered. I want to know about it. If somebody clicks a link in my email, if somebody unsubscribes or reports my emails as spam, I want to know about it. I don't particularly care about opens. Every time someone opens, it's not the first time, it's every time. So if somebody opens and looks at my email 10 times or scrolls through it in their Outlook email client or whatever, it's going to trigger as an open. And I really don't want that cluttering up my database. So I'm choosing not to know about opens. You certainly could. There are probably ways to limit the number of opens, but, you're tracking, but I just don't care about it, so I'm not tracking that. And basically, you can test your webhook endpoint and hit test your integration, and it'll send some data to you. And where's that data going? Well, that data is going to a self-hosted RESTful API that is hosted on a server in my office. It's hosted, and it basically allows me to web enable my GoldMine. It allows me to send data or retrieve data out of my GoldMine database or send data to this RESTful API and allow me to create webhooks or web apps that handles that data in whatever way I choose. So if somebody unsubscribes, how do I want to handle that in GoldMine? If an email bounces, how do I want to handle that in my GoldMine? If somebody clicks a link or opens an email or marks my email as spam, what do I want to have happen in my GoldMine? I can process that data, and I'll show you that here in a second. Um, and basically, I can now integrate this SendGrid app because they have this webhook feature, which is really the power of all this. Having an application allows me to track those sort of events. The other thing I've enabled is open tracking, click tracking, and subscription tracking. Um, which allows me to add a custom text to my HTML email. So if you look at this, basically every time I send an email, it's going to add this line to the bottom of my email. If you'd like to stop receiving these emails, simply unsubscribe. And that's allowing me to insert an unsubscribe link into the body of the emails that I send through my SendGrid account. So those are all enabled. I've got open tracking, click track. Open tracking is going to insert a little image into the HTML of my emails to know that somebody has opened it. And then click tracking is going to convert every link in my emails that I send through SendGrid to a trackable link so that I can track who's clicking on the links in my emails. So those are enabled. And that's basically it. So now let's take a look at GoldMine. I'm going to show you my GoldMine. And the first thing I'll do is I'll show you my record in GoldMine. So if you look at the history tab on my record, I did some testing earlier, and you'll see this SendGrid click, SendGrid spam report, SendGrid unsubscribe, SendGrid click, a bounce, a group. So this is me testing. They send using this example at test.com. So I've added that email address to my record in GoldMine, example at test.com. It's one of the emails in my GoldMine record. So when those data is sent to my webhook, it finds that email in my record and creates these history entries. Obviously, I've done some testing with some other emails that I've sent. But basically, this is what I've set up my webhook to do, is just basically create a history entry for when someone, clicks or unsubscribes or reports my email as spam. I can obviously schedule a call for an assigned rep. I could send an email to somebody and notify them that somebody has opted out or unsubscribed or bounced or reported my email as spam. Um, so that's all I'm doing in this case is I'm creating a history record just for the demonstration purposes here. But ideally, we could customize that webhook, that process, that workflow process to whatever you really want. to have happen. Let me show you what happens on in the GoldMine side. What I've done is I've gone ahead and let me show you this. I've gone ahead and added my SendGrid account. Again, just like I have my regular Office 365 email account, I can have as many email accounts as I want in my GoldMine to send and receive emails from. But I've gone ahead and set up my SendGrid account to send emails through my GoldMine. So again, SendGrid is an SMTP relay service. They have an SMTP relay feature, and I'm now going to integrate my GoldMine with my SendGrid, or my SendGrid with my GoldMine, using this self-hosted RESTful API to update the records when I do those sends. But let me show you how the sending works. I'm going to go ahead and click on a record in my GoldMine. Obviously, I'm on my record. Now, this could be a mass email that I'm queuing up. This could be an email that's going to go out to hundreds of people, thousands of people, depending on my SendGrid account level. How much am I allowed to send through my SendGrid? But all I have to do in my GoldMine is make sure that I am sending using the SendGrid account. I don't want to send using my regular email account. I want to make sure I'm sending using my SendGrid account. I'm going to set SendGrid test email. This is a test. And you'll notice the first thing, I haven't done nothing in my GoldMine. This is just my regular GoldMine email template, my signature email template. It's got my picture, some of my info. There's no unsubscribe link. These links that are in here right now are not trackable. They're just regular email links that I use to highlight some words. I inserted a link and typed in I'm not inserting and copy pasting HTML code or needing to do anything. I'm just literally started an email and writing text. If I had links in here, and I'll do that. I'll say, hey, I want to go to onestdirect.com. I want to go to, let's say, Goldmine. Oh, I've got Goldmine Success down there. Let's go to, where do we want to go? Let's go to Ivanti.com. That's the Goldmine manufacturer. So I've set up some links in here, right? Very simple stuff. I'm not basically inserting any of those links using any sort of custom link tracking code. I'm just typing that in there. Again, I'm going to send this email. And this email should come to my regular email account. Let's go check my email. And there's my email, JSendGrid test. I'm going to get that email. So here we are. The first thing you'll notice at the bottom of this email is the unsubscribe text that SendGrid's mail server system, that their system is adding to the bottom of my email message when it gets sent through their mail server. So I sent using my SendGrid account through GoldMine, right? GoldMine is just a client for sending emails. It is not a mail server. You need a mail server with Office 365, G Suite, etc. But in this case, I'm using SendGrid because of this great feature that they give me for being able to do this tracking. You'll notice now, you can't see it here, but when I click on this link is actually a trackable SendGrid link. You'll see there, launch U35 whatever SendGrid. So SendGrid has gone and converted all of my links to be trackable links so that when my end user clicks on these, even these ones down here that I had in my signature, all of these links are set up to be tracked. So I've opened this email. I'm going to click on this link, and you'll notice over here is my web browser. It launched that link over here. I'll go to Ivanti.com. So the first thing it's doing is it's going out to SendGrid's website, and it's indicating that I've clicked on those links. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sync up my server here. Finish. I'm on my GoldMine on my office at my home. The data that's coming from SendGrid is going to the server in my office. So I have to sync my local copy of GoldMine with my server to pick up those changes that have occurred through this RESTful API to update those records in GoldMine. But what's also nice, I'll just go back to SendGrid here for a second. If I go to my activities report in SendGrid, I can obviously log into SendGrid, and I can choose a date range and time that I want to be able to track data, and I can hit a search, and it's going to load up any of the previously tracked results for campaigns that I've sent, emails that I've sent. So you can see here, I've got some tests that I've sent out. It's not quite yet in their reporting picking up the latest emails that I've sent today. You'll notice that this date range is kind of old. It goes back a bit, but if I change this in search, it's not going to pick up the stuff that I sent today because it just hasn't got a chance to get updated. This is a test. Those are emails I sent earlier this morning. It takes like 20-30 minutes. So in about 30 minutes, my campaign that I just sent will show up in here. But what's nice with this reporting is that it does give you reporting. I can see that I sent an email to this email address. It's going to show me that I opened it 3 times. Here's one I sent earlier. I clicked on it. Uh, it says I clicked on it 12 times. And this is, if I click into it, it's a detailed report on that particular email delivery to that particular user, and it shows me that user, everything that user has done with that particular campaign or email that I sent out, even the unsubscribe. So it's like a timeline for each recipient, each user, and ideally that result, that activity could get retracted back into Goldmine. So if I go back to my record here in Goldmine and I just show off and come back, you'll see here, here's the email I sent out, right? Because I sent it through Goldmine, that email that I sent is still in Goldmine, right? That's the email I sent myself. Um, Here's SendGrid click, right? So here is it showing that I actually clicked on the Avanti.com URL address. So it's actually picking up the fact that I clicked on that. And then it's actually showing here that I clicked on the 1stdirect.com event. Um, so it's funny is that the date and time that the Goldmine put it in Goldmine and the time that I clicked on it, they both happened within the same minute, right? I sent it, I went and got it, I clicked on it. That happened within a minute. So in Goldmine, it's showing them kind of at the same time, but obviously I sent the email, then I clicked on it. But the way this is listed, it's almost as if it happened after, but it happened so close to each other. It's why it's doing that. And then about a minute later, so a minute later, I clicked on the Avanti. So I immediately clicked first direct link and then the Avanti link. But here's what's really nice. The email that I sent out of Goldmine does not have any of that open tracking or unsubscribed link or any of these links being converted to be trackable. So if in Goldmine, I'm looking at the emails that I've sent through Goldmine, I'm not going to trigger an open. I'm not going to trigger an unsubscribe. I'm not going to trigger a click if I click on these links in this email, which is really nice. You know, the fact that the emails that I send are just like the emails I normally send on the end user's end, on the recipient's end, it's all been converted to trackable stuff. And in this case, you see here with the integration that I've talked about, this RESTful API on my server, I can now see that that Jay at 1 Direct clicked on a link in an email for go to my website. We could customize this. To what degree could we customize this? Well, if you wanted to know and only say, hey, if the link they clicked on was to go to my XYZ product page, or they went to a quote request form, or if they clicked on this particular link, I could have it so that it does something different if they clicked on, say, some other link, right? So maybe you have a sales rep that manages only a certain product line, or you want to notify every sales rep of every time that there's a link clicked. You could notify a whole bunch of sales reps. When someone unsubscribes, do you want to remove the email out of Goldmine? Do you want to just remove a merge code from that email address? From Goldmine? Do you want to update a field with the idea that with the fact that that person unsubscribed? If the email bounces, you're obviously going to want to remove the email, right? So we can remove the email, and that's all handled through that custom webhook that's hosted on my web server in my office, hosting my RESTful API. So that is today's presentation. That is sending emails out of Goldmine like you do every day if you use Goldmine and you to send email, but you're looking for some more advanced unsubscribe management, hard bounce tracking, click tracking, open tracking if you choose, spam report tracking to have that come back into your Goldmine. Obviously, once this data is in Goldmine, we can now start to run reports. Give me a list of everybody that opened or unsubscribed or bounced or marked it as spam. We can start to run reports on that. So that is today's presentation. If you are interested in SendGrid or interested in GoldMine integration, please give us a call at 845 221 3800.